The title of his speech is Vocal Variety Shmocal Variety. Please welcome Frank to the lectern. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Toastmaster of the meeting. Hi everyone, I'll be your Toastmaster for today, and today's theme is vocal variety. So let's practice our voices, our pitches. Have a great meeting today. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Frank Salazar, and when I first walked into this room, this very exact room, I learned quickly about vocal variety when I came up to give my first speech, which were table topic speeches. I was told quickly, speak up, we're old. From that time on, I will come and I will give a speech and I try to practice my vocal variety, which at that time I was like, vocal variety, more like shmocal variety. But I quickly learned that it's not just yelling, it's projecting your voice. Because I would come up here and I would scream my speeches because I thought that's what I had to do. But I learned from different members. One of our beloved members who's no longer with us, Joy, would always be pushing me to speak up, speak clearly. And we have our very own Phyllis Allen of Allen McAllen fame, who will encourage me to give more speeches and to look around and address my audience. And I then met the queen of vocal variety, Miss Luisa Montalvo, world champion of 2024-2025. And when she would come up and give a speech, her voice was so clear, was so impactful that you had to listen. And she would always start off her speeches doing some voices, reenacting a scene. And that's one way that I learned how to open up a speech. And I would practice my vocal variety. And I would come up here and I would just be behind the lectern. I would be rigid and stand up properly and just present myself in a certain way. I wouldn't always practice that at home. Then after I give my speech, I just go back to my chair hunched over. And I started learning I should take care of the way that I look, not just the way that I speak. But all that is thanks to my HUB City Toastmasters family. And I started noticing that I was using not just vocal variety, but things that were taught here outside in the regular world. And in one of the ways that I've been using vocal variety, which at first I didn't realize that I was doing it until a friend of mine pointed it out. I run tabletop role-playing games at the FAR library, and it's called the Roll for Taraco RPG Club. And what we do is we take our sheets of paper that have our character, and I will roll dice and we'll act out a scene. And sometimes I'll do funny voices. Now, you don't have to do funny voices for role-playing games, but I like to do it. It brings the characters to life. So I have some characters right here, some big old ogres, if you can see this clearly. And I'd introduce the scene. Like, I tell my player, you're in the deep north. There's snow everywhere. And as you're walking, you hear the splat of the snow as you take each step, and you see a cabin. What do you do? And they would take a turn, they would roll a dice, and sometimes they meet interesting people. One of them would be a big ogre, and when you hear ogre, you could hear a deep gruff voice. But my ogre was in a fire accident and it burned his vocals. So when he talked like this, and his name was Crispy the ogre. And I also had a dwarf, and he's an adventurous dwarf, and he would talk with a little bit of a Australian accent. Crikey, matey. That's my dwarf. It's not the best accent, but I'm working on it. My friends started telling me, wow, your voices are great. Like I could tell when it wasn't you and when it was you, which was an interesting observation because apparently I would embody the character just a little bit enough with the voices that they would be able to tell, oh, that's this character talking, and that's this character over here talking. So that's vocal variety, and I would have fun with it. I love using vocal variety, and it's not just speaking loudly, as I said, it's changing your pitch to match the tone of the speech. So if you're telling a sad story, you want to bring down your voice a little bit. And then that's when I was hit by a car. Bam! Did that get your attention? I hope so. That was my point. So you can have a range of emotions from sad, excited, happy, terrifying. And all that is done with vocal variety. So vocal variety, schmocal variety, just have fun with it. Back to you, Toastmaster.